Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. Hey, we are going to explore this concept of cube root. So I am pulling this question from CPM's Math 1, okay? And this is from section 1.1.3, specifically number 1-30. So it says the solution to the equation x cubed is or equals 64 is called the cube root of 64. The idea is similar to the idea of the square root, except that the value must be cubed. What cubed, that word cubed, right? Cubed means multiplied by itself 3 times to become 64. One way to write the cube root of 64 is using notation. This is that. It looks like a square root symbol, but in this case, there's that little 3. So that little 3 means cube root. Use this information to evaluate each of the following expressions. So cube root of 64, right? That part A. So what I'm looking for is the same number that multiplies 3 times to equal 64, right? What times what times what? And it's got to be the same number multiplied each time. So it's the exact same number that's multiplied each time to be 64. So what we may do is just play around with numbers, right? So you see it 64, so you try 2 times 2 times 2, and you see that 2 times 2 times 2 is actually equal to 8. So that wouldn't be it, right? So what we could say then is the cube root of 8 is equal to 2, right? So let's check 4. 4 times 4 times 4. Well, 4 times 4 is 16, and then 16 times 4, sure enough, is 64. So that number that multiplies by itself 3 times is 4. So the cube root, we'd answer this question and say the cube root of 64 is equal to 4. So the cube root of 125, right? So again, what times what times what equals 125? Well, ends in 5, so it might be 5. So let's check it. I'm going to just double check 5. So let's see what we get. Is it 5 times 5 times 5? So if we multiply the 2 5s first, we get 25. And then we multiply 5 again. 5 quarters is $1.25. So sure enough, yes, 125. So the cube root of 125 is 5. So now this one's interesting. Part C is interesting because I'm asking for the cube root of -8, but I have a negative number. Well, if you think about it, a negative number times a negative number times a negative number would equal negative. It would, right? Because first of all, the two negatives multiply to become a positive, but then that positive times a negative goes to negative. So it does work. You could take the cube root of a negative number. And so we already over here talked about 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So is -2 times -2 times -2 equal to -8 is the question. So we'll just check it. -2 times -2 is a +4. And then +4 times -2 is, yes, -8. So the cube root, we'd say, for this one, the cube root of -8 is equal to -2. That is the answer for that one. Okay. All right, there we go.